Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
Yep, like the title card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and YouTube is, showing at least a good 10-second lag on me here.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Mostly I try to make people in the side chat aware of it because 10 seconds is enough for us to be onto a completely different topic before they've typed a comment.
Oh, okay, there's Greg Hartwick.
Yep.
Oh, hey, Greg. Yeah, we were wondering if anybody was watching yet. Or if just when I start 15 minutes later, it means the audience shows up a half an hour later.
Mm-hmm.
Half hour is just when they get the announcement that it went live.
That has been my experience. That's why I don't rely on the YouTube notifications at all. Literally, that when I did have the YouTube notifications turned on, I would typically get the notifications half an hour after the show started. So when somebody was doing a 15-minute premiere, that was like really useful.
Yeah, totally.
Boy.
Good. The atheist.
Yep. Sorry, I'm trying to think, and that seems to be quite an effort today.
Yeah, one of those days. Lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I had the longest anxiety attack I can ever remember having last night,
Ooh.
which of course it took away half of the sleep I would have normally gotten.
Know how anxiety attacks go. Where those can leave me wiped for a day or two.
Yeah.
Well, most of the time, once I get back in my own place, they go away within an hour. This one hung on for something like 7 hours.
Ooh, it is a long one.
Mm-hmm.
Carol, I just emailed you a link if you want to join in here.
Well, unfortunately, I have no body art to speak of. Anyone else?
Me neither.
I have only one small tattoo on my arm, which is only about 2 inches long. And that is my late fiancee's sigil that she used to sign her paintings with. So it is meaningless to anyone but me, and maybe a dozen of her friends.
I couldn't understand having that.
Yeah.
To anyone else, it just looks like some kind of weird geometric symbol.
It doesn't have to be more than that.
Actually, somebody was telling me it looked like the letter Z in some weird alphabet.
It's not body art, but it's body modification. Like I have a hearing aid that it has two parts. It's the one that is like under my skin that's attached to my skull, and then there is an outside part that is stuck with the magnet to the inside part. So it's outside the skin, and it's like the magnet. So it's like some sort of body modification, even if it's not art.
I remember when I was growing up, one of my uncles had a hearing aid that was built into his glasses.
Mm-hmm.
So after a while, we caught on that if he reached up like he was brushing the hair out of his eyes and pulled his hand back behind his ear, he was shutting off his hearing aid because he was sick of listening to it.
I think I remember one of my grandparents taking their hearing aids out or shutting them off.
Yeah. The picture I used for the thumbnail, actually, let me bring up a bigger version of it. This, again, is going to probably take me a minute, so. Egg. I have to find the picture again.
Yeah. One of the worst anxiety attacks I had, I got out of bed, woke up with the anxiety attack, and I tried getting out of bed, and I just collapsed on the floor and just laid there for a while.
Oh. Yeah. You know, generally I find getting out of bed in the morning to be a bad idea.
Mm. When I finally calmed down enough to get myself off the floor and into a chair, or I checked my heart rate, it was like over 120 a minute.
Yeah.
Mm.
God damn it! What am I even looking for here?
A picture, the title card that you were using.
Yeah. I am just so badly organized that even finding pictures in my computer, I can never figure out which folder it's put them in. There we go. Be a cog. Okay. Yeah, that is actually the only picture I have ever posted of my late fiance.
Mhm.
You don't have it up yet.
Yep. Oh, that's right. StreamYard's added that extra click I keep forgetting about. There you go. But
Very
yeah,
cool
that's
tattoo.
what it's what she was working on when she died. But
Oh.
we had run out of money, so work on it had stalled terribly for the last few years.
Mm.
Mm.
Tattoos are not cheap.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But
It
she
looks
had
really
already
good.
put in something like 40 to 50 hours to get that far.
Yeah, you don't want to
Dragon
back
Ball?
out on it then.
Well, especially right over the spine is one of the most painful places.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
Now see
Greg, I'm
YouTube.
sorry to hear.
Okay, you see YouTube bots. It was a back, not a butt.
Yeah. Well, they didn't cancel the thumbnail, so apparently they were okay with that one. Although I'll always remember that one of the show streams I was on, YouTube canceled the stream immediately because it saw a nipple, not realizing it was a man running around shirtless.
Yeah, because only women's nipples are dangerous.
That's the problem with trying to use bots.
Yep.
And honestly, Facebook over relies on them.
Well, all the social media does because, they don't want to hire enough staff to actually deal with it. And, and things like YouTube, I forget, what they say now of how many things are uploaded per minute now.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to cut back or tweak the bots in Facebook because they get definitely overly sensitive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I haven't been on Facebook for a couple of years now, but
Yeah,
I got indiscriminately censored a few times.
Yeah, I almost don't even bother posting anything over there anymore because there's a 50-50 chance you're going to get hit.
Okay, yeah, Greg, I'm glad you got something to keep it under control. I've got to have a more serious conversation with my new doctor about getting me something I can take for the anxiety attacks.
Mm. For me, exposure therapy helps, which is kind of why I do these streams. But back
Yeah,
in when the pandemic first started, when I used going to the grocery store, I'd have a panic attack when I got home every time.
Mm.
So it's
mm,
2 years worth of panic attacks next every time every week.
yeah, that must have been really rough.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, Carol, I know the body art's not for everyone. It's definitely an individual choice.
Yeah.
Well,
Not my
that's why
thing either.
even though my late fiance, as you can see, really loved tattoos, I only have the one small one because I feel that if I'm going to have anything that permanent, it better be something that I'm sure is going to have meaning for the rest of my life.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, with that said, I did everything people say is wrong with that tattoo. Basically, about putting it somewhere that my clothes don't normally cover and effectively having somebody's name. But I think there is an exception for that for people who have passed on.
Yeah, I'd say there's an exception.
Hmm.
It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like it's obvious that's a name either.
Yeah, not to most people. So,
Um, the singer of one of my favorite bands has her. She has a lot of tattoos, but she on her arm she has the name of her daughter. So that's also
yeah.
something that's gonna, yeah. Evelyn, I think, is the name of the daughter. So it says that on
Hey,
her.
hey, Kalasia. Yeah, when I was in New York, they gave me Klonopin. I have not been able to get a doctor to prescribe it since then.
Yeah, the psychiatrists I've spoken to have suggested I should get on some kind of medication, but the problem is the meds are a source of anxiety for me.
Oh, yeah, sometimes you run into that. It's a bit counterproductive. With mental health issues, things like that can get very complicated. Mostly, I haven't really pushed too hard for the anxiety meds just because I've been too occupied with other issues with the doctors. I've spent I spent 2 years trying to deal with the sleep things until the doctor I had left, and I had to start over with the new doctor. And honestly, I just haven't had the energy to completely start all that over with the new doctor. So, excuse me. We've tried a couple of things, but yeah, this unfortunately is a problem for a lot of people here in the U.S. that being able to afford your medications.
Yeah,
Again, it was one of the reasons I wanted to get back to Minnesota, that I knew the Medicaid here was significantly better. So since I've been back here, one of my prescriptions is $4. The rest of them are only like $1.50 each.
and as with the going through the Medicaid, Medicare thing, like I get it through my Social Security, they'll change the provider every like 5-10 years.
Yeah, I just had a complication with that trying to change pharmacies because we couldn't even figure out who my current provider was.
And of course, when they change the provider, that means I get a cool new doctor who they have no idea who it is, and they usually send me to what looks like a one step up from a walk-in clinic.
Okay, Seroquel is one I don't think I've tried. I'm not familiar with that. Quitapping? Anyone know anything about that one?
Nope.
Mm.
I've heard of Seroquel though.
Like I say, the name doesn't seem familiar, but in 2 years I went through like 6 different ones here, including ones that I knew from past experience weren't going to help, but my doctor explained to me that the insurance has this list that you have to go down in order to prove that these aren't going to work before they'll be willing to pay for the ones near the bottom of the list.
Okay.
So that's why after 2 years, we were just finally getting to some I hadn't tried. Yeah, Sloth Girl.
Hi, Sloth Girl.
That was the other problem last night. By the time I was convinced the anxiety wasn't going away, I figured Sloth Girl was already asleep, so I didn't want to risk waking her up by going up there.
I think they put me on Zoloft for depression. I had a really bad reaction to that, and it basically had the opposite effect on me than it was supposed to.
Mm-hmm. Well, one that I know worked for me was Xanax, although I never had a prescription for it. I was, getting that one from unauthorized sources. My late fiance had connections.
Yeah, the Zoloft caused me to actually have worse sleep.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of them that they had to run me through yet again was the Ambien, which, for me, the problems with it were, as my fiance put it, that I would start fights at night, and the next morning I would not remember any of it. So it was causing me to have memory gaps from everything from like 2 hours before I went to bed.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one that tried me on was Mirazepam, which kind of helped, but I caused very super realistic nightmares.
Ouch.
So it's like, what's your quality of sleep then?
That's almost me nightly. It also caused these weird lines on me that kind of look like varicose veins, but they're like around my hips. Once I got off the medicine, they went away, but I still have like the scars from it if you look closely.
Okay, I'll have to talk to a doctor about the Seroquel, see if that's an option. Yeah, I had the trazodone for sleep at one time too, and that was one of the ones that it seemed to help for a while, but after I took it for a while, the effects were tapering off. Okay, Paxil. I'm trying to remember what the generic for Paxil was, because Of course, the insurance always tries to get the generics, which is fine. I've nothing wrong with the generic drugs. I often don't know what the patent name for these things is.
Hey, if you can save some bucks by not paying for the name, it's the same
Yeah,
stuff.
the only difference with the generic is you're not paying for the advertising budget.
Yeah.
And I really don't understand, drug companies should not be advertising to the public.
I agree.
Mhm.
Because if you can't get without a prescription from a doctor, shouldn't the doctor be the one to tell you that you should have it?
Yeah, it's their job to know what you produce.
Yeah, Carol, for me, this goes, back 25 years ago when before they could properly diagnose me, they kept giving me a different diagnosis every couple of months. And I pretty much went through the whole family of SSRIs, and they realized that, none of those helped. So apparently serotonin is not the issue for my brain.
Sometimes I wonder if I'm misdiagnosed because they officially have me diagnosed as with having a social anxiety disorder, but I'm kind of wondering it might be a form of PTSD.
Could be, and they are commonly comorbid. They often come together, and the symptoms of one aggravate the other.
That's
Sloth Girl
possible.
does have a point that it's good to know what your options are out there. Because, for
Mm.
various reasons, the doctors may not bring up a drug.
That's true.
So I guess it helps to, well, it would help if people in general would do their own research and know something about it rather than just going by a pretty TV commercial and going in and demanding it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
especially in the internet age, you can do that quite easily.
Yeah, it's easy just to type in the name of the drug in Google and, get an abstract on what it's for and how it works.
You also have sites like drug.com, which can give you side effects and all that good stuff.
Yep. I've learned to watch for those things because I've had a couple of occasions. One of them was on the Lunesta, which again, it helped me sleep, but it kills my sense of taste. Everything tastes like metal.
Hmm.
And the registered nurse who prescribed it for me went back and looked at that, because he thought it was such a strange effect to have. And when he looked back at the studies for it, it was, one of those things in the fine print that this was observed in less than 3% of the study group.
Yeah.
And I've had about 5 drugs now that I've fallen into that, less than 3% line.
I haven't been able to find anything as to why the Zoloft was causing those lines to form on my waist. I couldn't find that as the side effect, but
Yeah, I have not heard of that side effect from it.
all I know is once I got off the drugs, it went away. So
That seems fairly conclusive for what was causing it. I mean, that's how they often figure out allergies is just remove one thing at a time from your diet.
yeah, that was the only change. So
Oh, hey, Nitty. Yeah, actually, I had just gone over that. I'll bring it up again. That is actually my late fiance. Where's that last? Yeah, that's actually my late fiance, and that is the tattoo she was working on when she died. That it had been about 40 to 50 hours to do that outline, and she was ready to have it start having it colored in. But we wound up just not having any money for them to do any further work on it.
I I don't know what happened to her. Why she passed? What happened?
Well, yeah, it was one of those. It was really a very sudden shock because, actually all the doctors were complimenting me that since I started taking care of her, everything was improving as far as her asthma and such. But just one night we were watching TV and she said, I can't see. And I called 911, and in the 10 minutes it took for the paramedics to get there, she was laying on the floor and they pronounced her dead in the ambulance.
Damn.
Oh. Well,
They were using the defibrillators to try and get her heart going again, and nothing happened. So this is also something why I encourage everybody in a relationship to get some legal paperwork drawn up, because we had a healthcare proxy, but that was it. And I was told that the healthcare proxy only covered her while she was alive, that the moment she was pronounced dead, I had no rights to anything, and the doctors couldn't talk to me about anything.
wow.
But one doctor at the ER who knew us because we'd been in there so often, just in the hall on the side, said that he suspected from the way I described it that it was probably a blood clot broke loose and went to her brain, because that was about the only thing he could come up with that, wouldn't have had some other obvious symptoms that would have happened that quickly.
And they were not supposed to tell you that.
Legally, he was not supposed to talk to me at all.
Yeah, it's good that he did. Of course, you deserve to know that.
He was actually risking his job telling me anything.
Yeah, kudos to him.
Yeah, because if her mother had gotten involved in it, her mother could have sued the hospital for him telling me that.
Jeez.
Her mother, who I had never met in the 5 years I had known her, that's how close they were.
One of those situations.
Yep. But of course, as soon as she died, since the car was in my fiance's name, her mother sent police officers to the house to repossess the car immediately.
Yeah, one of those people.
Yeah. Man, I tell you, a couple days after the household income was cut in half, not having a vehicle to get to work was a huge help.
Yeah.
This is why I wound up homeless a couple months after. Things really spiraled down from there. Niddy, I just want to say I'm glad to see that you're still hanging around. I saw your stream that you were considering leaving us. Carol, yeah, one of the curious things we learned about Xanax when my fiance was taking it is one of the warnings on there was to avoid grapefruit, which I thought was really strange. That specified just grapefruit, that apparently other citrus didn't bother it. And, I kind of forgot about one day, and with breakfast I gave her, just one of those little 4-ounce glasses of grapefruit juice. But when she took that with the Xanax, it was like the equivalent of her having like 3 or 4 beers within an hour, that she was staggering and slurring her speech.
Yeah, there's something in the grapefruit that causes you to absorb more of the drug.
Yeah, you were saying that last time I mentioned it, but I think that was when we were off the air. So I thought I would bring it up again.
Oh,
Yeah, Sloth Girl has been working on the legal papers for us. We just
that's
have
good.
some things we need to get notarized to make them official. Which,
So you must.
fortunately for us, is a bit easier because it turns out that our building manager is a notary republic. So,
Oh, good. So you're almost there with the paperwork.
yeah, as far as having the living will and her official will and all, and we've also had a couple of conferences with her kids just to make sure everybody's on the same page and understands what she wants, and that I won't wind up arguing with her kids afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like she has a house or any great amount of wealth to inherit or anything like that, but we just want to make sure that we head off any arguments.
It's pretty easy with my parents passing away, seeing as I was basically the only one to to inherit anything. They didn't really
Yeah.
leave much anyway, but
Well, it's with Sloth Girl, they stand to inherit a ton of crafting supplies, which is something I don't think either of them are really eager about. So, actually, it's one of the things in her will that I'm supposed to bring any remaining yarn to a knitting group that she was in and give it to all the women there.
yeah, with my dad, it was just me and his brother, my uncle. So being I was his son, I was next of kin, so I had to take care of everything.
Mm-hmm. It is one way that I'm kind of glad that I'm on the bottom of the list for that. I know my mother was heavily hinting that I should stay up there in Michigan and help her through her final years. But as I just had my fiance die a couple years before, I was not really feeling up to becoming somebody else's caretaker right away.
Yeah.
And it's like, even if I owned a house in that small town in Michigan, it would have driven me crazy to live up there. I certainly could have never started transitioning. I just couldn't be out about who I was at all. So it was just, actually, even the mental health worker up there told me that I wasn't really depressed. I was just too self-aware of living in a mentally unhealthy environment.
What?
Yeah. And I agree with that, but depression isn't really my problem. I have problems with anxiety and motivation.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really get, depressed as, most people would understand any kind of chronic depression.
I'll procrastinate later.
Yep. Yeah, like I say, my problem is kind of the lack of motivation to finish projects. So I have an ever-growing, heap of projects
Mm-hmm.
that have gotten halfway through and are now being ignored.
Yeah, I've been playing around with this AI. It's been pretty fun. Oh, there you are, Jenny.
There's Jenny.
Good
Hi, Jenny.
afternoon.
Hello,
Sorry,
Jenny.
I overslept, but I'm awake now.
Well, I hope you got some good
Yay.
sleep.
Yes, I did. And I plan to get more after this.
Well, I always tell everybody, if you can get some more sleep, that's more important than anything I'm talking about here.
Okay. Like the picture of today's topic. Oh my God.
Do I need to bring it up again?
I guess so.
No, you don't. I know what it is. That's all that's necessary.
Actually, if you're reacting that way, it's not what you think it is.
Oh no, it appears to be
Mhm.
a rosebud, shall we say?
Well, no, and I didn't realize anybody would take it that way. That's my late fiance's back. I guess the thing that's throwing people is that the spot in the middle there is actually a Mercer scar.
Yeah, a little bit.
I was not seeing the whole picture. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it didn't occur to me that
Now it
anybody else
doesn't
would
look.
see
Now
it
it doesn't
that
look
way.
like
But
that at all. The whole picture is very helpful. Thanks.
oh, hey, bub.
Today, did you tell them what else today is?
No, I was kind of waiting for you for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're the only
Wednesday?
one who's a sports or
So
baseball
go ahead,
person.
introduce
So
your topic.
Today
Go ahead.
is
I'm gonna
today
guess
is
Wednesday.
Today is National Girls and Women's Sports Day.
Yeah.
75 years ago today, the first woman picked up a ball and threw it. No. I'm just making that up.
She threw like a girl. Oh, come on, girls can throw well.
Did they girls
Yeah.
were allowed to hold balls?
They really can. If you want to watch some exciting baseball, go watch women's fast pitch softball. That is, damn. Think of a hard ball that they throw and they hit 100 miles an hour with that thing. And now imagine a 16-inch softball that the woman throws and hits like 70, 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, my cousin was a pitcher in a softball league.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Definitely been like it though.
And one of my sisters was actually on the University of Minnesota hockey team for several years.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
very cool. They started getting women's hockey going in this part of the woods. There's a big push to get high school girls hockey going, and a few schools have teams. It'll happen.
Well, it would be good to see, just to give the girls more options.
Who's all out there in the chat? Let's see.
Growing up, I ran into a bit of the reverse discrimination in that. Since they were taking me to be a boy, the only sport I was interested in was gymnastics, and they didn't allow boys on the gymnastics team because that was a girl's sport.
Oh, jeez.
See, I've never ever heard that before.
Well, that was in the early 70s.
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
You've never heard of the early 70s?
No, I've never heard of women, girls, high school gymnastics, and not boys.
Well, that was junior high.
Oh, okay. Well, I see now. That's different.
Yeah.
You gotta specify these things.
Yeah. See, nerdy, that's how we're trying to be on topic for more on this show, is that we'll keep circling back to it so we can repeat the same 6 seconds and we might actually get a full minute on the topic.
Hey, nerdy. Well, women's athletics has come a long way in the last 20 years, 30. No, see, I'm dating myself. 40 years. Wasn't that Title IX? Title IX came out in 73, 74, 72? I forget. But since then, women's leagues have been expanding in high school, of course, but also in college and professionally. The WNBA is successful. I don't understand why people don't go watch it. If you like basketball, it's very good quality basketball. And women are branching. There's some women who are branching out into actually trying to play on men's teams and stuff like that, and they have a certain amount of success of girls in high school being kicker for a football team, and there's a couple that actually play on the line and stuff like that. So it's a good thing.
Actually, that had been one of my late fiance's goals, was that when she got back in better shape, she wanted to try out for either the women's football team or Syracuse had a roller derby team.
Roller derby is very much underrated. You know, I think it gets bad, the laughs and stuff, because it used to be like all-star wrestling back in the 60s and 70s. It was more a carnival than it was an actual sport. But nowadays it's being played seriously in leagues and things like that, and it's really come along.
Answers. Jenny and I are both in Minnesota.
Coo, 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 coo. Oh no, that's Canada's song. Darn.
That's okay. Minnesota's just Canada light.
Oh, nice, nerdy. Nice. Thanks a lot. Oh, atheism. So you're going to go get a coffee. Bring me one, please.
I just finished my coffee.
Yeah, when I realized I was late, I didn't get a chance to go make any. So we'll do without.
I drink a cup of coffee to get rid of the brain fog.
I do.
It is positively warm here today. We're up to 18 degrees.
It's chilly in my apartment. I'm not sure what the outside temperature is.
Yeah, you're probably similar.
Then again, I may just be cold. Yeah, I'm in St. Cloud. I'm not in the cities. And Jenny is actually closer to Rochester than to Minneapolis.
Oh, way closer. And even closer still to La Crosse, Wisconsin, which is my first choice of where to go for a big city excitement. So we're supposed to have a warm streak start this weekend. They say it's going to go up 35. They started up saying, it's going to be like 29, 30 degrees. And then a couple days ago, it was, it's going to be 29, 30, 31 here and there. And then yesterday it was 35. And this morning I heard somebody say it could hit 40. And that's supposed to stick around for like a week or so.
Oh, so we'll lose all the snow again.
Yeah, they're talking about rain and possible thunderstorms even.
Okay, Sloth Girl says it's 14 degrees here. Yeah, answer. Sloth Girls is my companion. We have separate apartments in the same building.
30, 40 warm. That's why I consider some of my cold weather.
Beelzebub, are you serious? Is there one of those antique laws that say it's illegal to worry a squirrel?
Excuse me. I just wanted to point out we were going to speak and talk about the women's sport, and now we're talking about the weather. Maybe we.
All right,
it was an important day. One of
the sad things today about women's sports, even though we have Title IX, which demands equality of schools and stuff that sponsor sports. If there's a boys team, there's got to be a girls team. Is that it doesn't quite work that way in college. Here they're playing let's see, I've got to remember which sport that was. I'm pretty sure it was basketball, but I don't remember for sure. The boys locker room facilities and stuff in college athletics was just packed with exercise equipment and weight machines and carpeted and find woodwork for the lockers and all this shit. And the girls' team was basically, oh, here's the corner by the storeroom. You can use that. And everybody's a little, upset about that. It's just now being talked about here and there. I'm surprised they waited so long to say something.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably because women are so gracious and unassuming.
Yeah, well, it's also just because there are so many other issues that women were facing. It may be that, the groups that were working for it just didn't have enough time to focus on that one.
Well, Bob, I'm glad to hear that law exists. People in La Crosse take really good care of their squirrels. There's one park that I go to that there's people feeding them every day, 365. People are bringing food out to the squirrels, and they're pretty friendly. I've had them actually jump up to the window of my car and look in and see what's to eat today. It's kind of cool.
We've been informed here that feeding the squirrels qualifies as a lease violation. Apparently, they were having problems with some of the squirrels getting a little too friendly, and they even had to trap and relocate them.
I'm trying to be friendly with the squirrels around here. When I first moved in here, I hadn't put the shades up on my front of my house, so I have these two big windows. And I was out one morning, and I saw this little baby squirrel right at the window. He was looking into the window, tapping on the glass, looking in the window.
That's cute. I like squirrels. I'm a big squirrel fan.
Yeah,
it was cute.
Yeah, Carol, usually from Minnesota for January, any day above 0 is considered a heat wave.
And I think it was a few days ago. I heard the chickens, getting all worked up for something, and there was a hawk out there. I tried chasing him off. A few minutes later, they started back up again. I went back out there, look around. Okay, it was up in my big oak tree, and all the other birds were surrounding it. Doing their this is a warning thing. And I watched one of the squirrels in the tree. He came running up to it, and the hawk tried diving at it. But all the other birds just kind of mobbed him just as he tried going after the squirrel and to chase him off.
I saw a group of 3 hawks attack a single squirrel. The squirrel got away eventually because I think the birds were just so confused, all 3 of them being there and not knowing, not really having a team plan or something. And then I was told by a raptor specialist that that's pretty rare to see a hawk take a squirrel, that they usually don't go after them.
I guess the hawk
Really?
I saw was pretty hungry then.
I would have thought it would be common for them to go after
Yeah,
squirrels.
I would too. I was real surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, and it's first Wednesday of the month at 1 o'clock, so the civil defense sirens are going off.
Do you want me to mute?
No, it's here. I'm hearing it here.
Oh, it's here too.
Hopefully with my headphone, people aren't hearing it, but...
Yeah, I hear it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You just watch out for Pyramid Head there.
Well, can you hear mine?
I hear something. I don't know which one is.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I had my mic muted, so if you were hearing it there, you were hearing it coming through Jenny's.
Okay.
Mine's louder. It's also closer. It's at the end of the block.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where ours is.
Boy, that would really annoy me if I had to listen to that.
Yeah.
Doesn't they go off every afternoon in Florida? Don't you guys get like tornadoes every day?
We don't have any kind of thing like that.
You don't have sirens?
Nope.
Really?
Sloth Girl, we have tornadoes in the winter. And I have seen a tornado in a blizzard. Minnesota only has 2 months out of the year with no recorded snowfall and only 2 months with no recorded tornadoes. And they are not the same months.
Wisconsin only has 1 month without tornado, and that's February. So they're still in danger. Oh gosh.
Yeah, where we live, we're like half a mile from the hospital, so we are on the main route that most of the ambulances wind up taking. So, yeah, we wind up having ambulances running past here with the sirens going at pretty much every day.
Oh, they really have siren setups that you can get in the house from that weather radio system.
I'm not following you.
I'm reading the chat. We should all be looking at the chat.
I am, but I guess I'm behind.
They're very shady.
Yes, Siren Head. Anyone ever see that short Siren Head?
Which head? I'm sorry.
Siren Head.
I
No.
vaguely remember it.
Yeah, you can look it up on YouTube. It's like a horror thing.
Another Marvel superhero.
No, not a Marvel superhero.
Not a superhero?
It was like this giant monster thing that with a siren for a head.
Kind of guessed that from the title.
Well, did you see my tweet yesterday about the afternoon movie I was watching? I think it's probably one of the ultimate B movies. It was,
yeah, the sand shark thing.
Yeah, that's the name of it, Sand Shark. And the premise is that there's a group of sharks that evolved to be able to swim in the sand and will attack anything that's standing on the sand. And of course, they can do tremendous leaps out of the sand and tear apart giant piers that go out into the ocean, and they can bite your head off or bite your body off your head and just leave the head, and it's just all kinds of lovely talents that these sharks have, and only way you can apparently get rid of them is to shoot them with lots and lots of AR-15s all at once. Oh God, it was just so bad. It was so bad. You could tell who was going to die in the first scene that you watched. They're gone.
Was this on par with Sharknado?
No, this came out in what was it, 91? No, 91 or 2000s. Far sooner than Land Shark or Sharknado. But it was just so badly made, and it had a bunch of actors in it that you just kind of look. I think I recognize that person. So there probably some extra in other films and stuff like that, but they had starring roles in this one. Oh, I love crappy B movies. They're so much fun. They're so bad.
I should probably get around to watching Cocaine Bear. So I'm waiting for the sequel, Cocaine Bear versus Beth Gator.
I wonder what crappy movie is on right now. We can find that out.
Yeah, I've seen the trailers for that Cocaine Bear. I just hope nobody making it was trying to take it seriously.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
As total camp, it might be bearable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's complete camp.
Well, the worst movies are the ones that were written to be camp, but the director tries to take it seriously.
Well, if you name the movie Cocaine Bear, no, you can't take that seriously.
No, you can't.
Oh, today must be Romance Day on the Bad Movie Network.
Well, the problem with Cocaine Bear is that thing about inspired by a true story. And if somebody gets the idea that this was a true story and they start taking it seriously.
Mhm.
I will point out they say inspired by, not even based on.
There's actually a
People
movie
will.
called Cocaine Bear.
Yes,
Oh,
it's a
yes.
real movie.
Oh, no kidding.
Well,
let me guess. The bear gets into some drug guy's cocaine and becomes addicted and rampages looking for more cocaine.
I imagine. I
well,
haven't seen anything.
the story it was inspired by was apparently there were, like some drug runners that flying over Canada, they decided to drop like 1,000 kilos of cocaine, so that it wasn't found when they landed. And apparently a bear got into it, but the bear ate the cocaine. It sent his heart racing so bad that his heart exploded. And that was the end of it. It was just way too high a dose even for the bear to handle.
Mhm.
Now, have you seen this film?
No, I've only seen the trailers for it.
I'm wondering about the quality of the special effects when the heart exploded. Did it like explode out of his chest?
Well,
blood all over the entire.
Yeah, the movie, they're not
scene?
having that. The movie's just, showing this bear, in this wild rage going after campers.
Did the bear complain of like left arm pain or anything first?
I don't know. But apparently he's chasing some really stupid people, including one guy who thinks bears can't climb trees.
Mm.
Yeah. More seriously, I actually had a friend in Canada who ended up getting killed by a bear.
That would be such a awful way to go.
Yeah.
Is being, torn apart by fucking wild animals.
I've had close encounters with black bears in Michigan. Fortunately, they're not as big. So basically, you can lock yourself in the car and just wait until they get tired and go away. If you're up to something like a grizzly, that might not work. He might just decide to bust the window and get you out.
Mm.
And my uncle was staying up at a cabin that had a lot of bears around, and he ended up developing gout in his arm. He was saying it was so painful. He was thinking about just sticking his arm out the window and letting the bears have it.
I think you should try that. Yeah. Just make sure that you got the keys to the car and stuff before.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
A terrible B movie.
Apparently, there is a type of mud skipper that when the tide comes in, to avoid the predators, they actually climb trees.
Mm-hmm.
Because they only want to splash around when the water's like 2 inches deep so that the predators can't come close enough to get them. So if the water starts getting deeper, they climb out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to show that one to Ken Ham, about no transitional forms. What the fuck do you say about a fish that climbs trees?
Yeah.
Actually, I'd like to ask him if.
Well, now is it fish that climb trees? Do they then attack you, or do they go after cocaine?
Well, actually, the fish are like these little symbiotes, and they make the trees attack you. They zombify the trees.
Actually, I'd like to ask if pond scum becoming a lethal parasite counts as one kind becoming another kind.
Pond scum becoming a lethal parasite?
Yeah, that's happened. At least a couple times that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about because we every year in Minnesota, there wind up being 1 or 2 cases of that when the temperature's like in the 90s for over a week. That when some of the lakes get too warm, we get a burst of that. That it's some type of algae that can enter through the sinus canals and actually starts eating your brain.
Yeah, that's true. There is such a thing. There's a brain-eating amoeba. Wow, they can get in. It's pretty rare. They've only get like one or 2 cases every 5 or 10 years, but it is out there.
Is Florida just Australia but smaller?
Yeah. Yeah, Florida's Australia light.
Uh-huh.
No, it's not. No.
It's the US. You're not light anything. You always take it to 11.
What, Clara? How do you define Australia? What do you think Australia is like?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
Two
don't know,
Weeb says answers it good. Far more swampy than desert. Half of Florida is a giant swamp, the Okefenokee Swamp.
Yep.
And 9/10 of Australia is a freaking desert.
Yeah, Australia basically only has human habitation along the coast.
Yeah.
There's hardly any towns inland.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. I was trying to remember the name. It was malaria. It started out as pond scum.
Mm-hmm.
Well, malaria is where we get the gin and tonic from, because the tonic was originally the quinine and the gin just made it so that it killed the taste enough that people could swallow it.
And the Helicosporidium is another one, and that started out as basically just an algae that became a parasite.
Yeah, I expect that Florida has a lot of wells because your water table is like only 3 inches below the surface or something.
Not as many as you may think. Though I have encountered a lot of well water where. But,
okay, well, Two Weeb says that you've got an abundance of wells.
I usually find it in more of the like trailer park kind of stuff.
And in the winter in deep south Australia, there is skiing. So you get no snow in Florida unless it's a really particularly bad, unusual weather system.
Yeah, I think I've only seen snow once in my life, where I'm at.
Yeah, I know it is something that panics them because they don't know how to deal with it. And I get that. I make some fun of the southern states when they get snow, but I understand that if there isn't a snowplow in the entire state, a couple inches of snow is a big deal then.
Fortunately, it goes away the next day.
Even if there isn't really any measurable amount, just because people don't know how to drive in it, it's an issue.
Yeah. This one time I saw it snow, the snow was gone by the afternoon, but still.
Yeah, when my sister was in the National Guard, they sent her down to Texas for desert training, and it snowed while she was down there. And they closed the interstates, and she was just laughing her head off at these people.
Yeah. Also,
because it's like that this was like 2 inches of snow, and it's like, yeah, Minnesota, we don't even send the plows out for that.
Yeah. Also, our plumbing isn't exactly set up for freezing up.
That's a big issue. Is what the normal frost line is and what the building codes said for how far they had to bury the pipes. Yeah, actually, Minnesota, we've got a lot of wells too, because Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes. So again, even where there isn't a lake on the surface, there's a good chance there's one that's only 50 feet underground.
I've never really much liked well water. It always has that sulfur smell to it.
Well, it all depends on what the mineral content of the aquifer is. But yeah, for Minnesota, it's like, I don't really notice the smell being a problem, but we do wind up, even with the tap water, even after the city's processed it, it still has a very high mineral content, and we get that, that white mineral buildup on everything.
Saratoga Springs, New York, is it? Or Pennsylvania? New York, I think. Jersey? Saratoga Springs, up north. It's called springs because there's springs all over the place and water coming up anywhere. And in the old days, it was considered a fancy place to go stay because they said all the minerals in all these different wells were curative, which is just not true, but they thought it was anyways. And each well had its own different taste and smell and stuff like that. And today, I guess there's still one or two wells that are left open publicly, or springs, I should say, so that you can access and have the water if you want. It's that clean. We have a shitload of springs around here, just everywhere. They're just everywhere.
Why Minnesota and Wisconsin have so many breweries is because most of the breweries set up over natural springs.
Oh, and, I've been through Zephyr Hills, where you get the spring water in Florida. It does not have hills.
Zephyr Hills?
Yeah, the Zephyr Hills was the bottled water. You ever see that?
Nope.
Not familiar with that brand.
Yeah, it's pretty common around here. But I've actually been through Zephyr Hills, and there are no hills in Zephyr Hills.
Although there is a brand called Crystal Falls Spring Water, which I have seen as far out here as Minnesota. But Crystal Falls is like the next town over from where we used to live in Michigan.
The states that make up the Great Lakes Basin are very, 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 very touchy about bottled water and where it comes from and where it gets sold. Bottled water that's bottled within or gotten and bottled within the Great Lakes Basin is okay if it's sold within the Great Lakes Basin. But if it's sold out of the basin, then no, sorry.
That used to be the case. Unfortunately, some years ago, Michigan gave Nestle's a contract for a water bottling plant.
Yeah.
And that gets shipped all over the country.
Wisconsin told them to go piss off.
Yeah. Well, the fucked up thing about that is that they gave Nestle permission for this bottled water plant, and Nestle was selling the bottled water in Flint, Michigan, because they couldn't repair the pipes there. They couldn't give the city drinkable water, so it was a prime market for the bottled water.
I'm still having trouble finding distilled water in the grocery stores.
Oh, really?
What do you need distilled water for?
I was going to use it for an experiment.
Ooh.
Yeah, like I said, we have a high mineral content here, so if you're wanting to put it in any kind of appliance, you definitely need distilled water here, otherwise you'll gunk everything up. Like even my tea maker, the white stuff builds up on the heating coils. So I have to regularly run white vinegar through there to dissolve it off again.
Well, you don't really want to ever put anything but distilled water in your car battery if it's low on water. Of course, if it's low on water, you got some other charging system problem. And your cooling system should only be mixed with coolant and distilled water. And it's, on both cases, it's because of the minerals and stuff like that. I was told that you would die if you drank nothing but distilled water.
I doubt that.
I would have to check it out. I never did, but it's something relating to the lack of minerals and stuff in it that we need.
Yeah, I've heard that claim, and yeah, it would be if you're not getting the minerals from any other source.
Yeah, I imagine if you're not getting it anywhere else, but
Yeah.
I think it's one of those claims that, is based on a true fact, but has probably been exaggerated.
Probably. Check the side chat, the private one. Purple.
Yep. I'm getting it.
Brian Stevens, is that gypsum in your water from a well on your property, or that's government water? Yeah, darn not bad. Now, as far as that smell goes, you get charged more if you smell too much like eggs.
Oh, that's interesting. What
What's
Brian
that?
Stevens is saying about distilled water. Distilled water is
Oh, okay.
low tar. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to solve a problem here and trying to figure out in YouTube Studios why somebody would be blocked on the channel. But I can't remember where to go to find that.
Yeah, distilled water is hypotonic to red blood cells, which can be dangerous in the long run. And fasting with distilled water can be dangerous to one's health.
So it says can be dangerous in the long run, but doesn't really give any specifics.
Well, I would think it's because of the lack of minerals and stuff.
Yeah,
needs it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of trace minerals that you usually get that way. Oh, bug.
I love it when you look at bottled water and how it's marketed and stuff like that, and that's there's spring water you can get, and of course then there's purified water, and then there's vitamin water.
Yep.
And I realize they're different. Some are taken from the city tap and running this through some filters and selling it.
Oh, and don't bother with the high-end distilled water, because that stuff they actually do add minerals to.
Yeah. But if you compare the taste of them, you can notice a difference in taste.
Oh yeah, if you try drinking distilled water, it really has no flavor.
No, I mean if you compare the taste of this brand that they don't add electrolytes or minerals to, and this brand that they do, you can taste the difference between them.
I imagine.
It's very subtle, but it's there.
Oh, and a little happy dance for me this morning. I was out watering my garden, and I got my first radish.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
It was a pink beauty.
I love radishes. Num num.
I haven't really liked radishes before, but that one actually wasn't that bad. I didn't have like a radishy flavor when you first ate it, and then you just kind of got the heat and the aftertaste.
Yeah,
don't think
I used to love to snack on radishes. I'd just sit with a bag of radishes and a salt shaker.
Nerdy, I don't think I'd ever distill eggs because then you'd lose the fetus, you know? That's the chewy fun part.
I was thinking of maybe taking some of the radishes I was growing and maybe mixing it with some pork and like a roast or a stew or something.
Distilled water is also pretty darn bad at conducting electricity.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, water itself is an insulator. It won't conduct electricity if it doesn't have some minerals in it. But, you know, pretty much all the water we get, even if it's fresh water from the Great Lakes, you know, it still has an amount of minerals and it has a small salt content.
Wasn't it Amber out in Twitter said that she put together a some kind of tweet or something that was a parody joke kind of tweet, and it was talking about some terrible experiment and we have to be careful of using these products because they put this dihydro oxygen in there.
Yeah, somebody had made a meme of that.
Yeah, and it got banned from Twitter.
Yeah, somebody had made a meme of it.
Didn't know it was water.
It on Twitter. Yeah, that this dihydrogenous oxide was being added to all of our food. And they were posting it on Twitter just to trigger the conservatives.
That ended up getting banned?
Yep.
Oh, jeez. I think, wasn't that a Cupcake Head that was posting that?
Yeah, Amber.
Oh. Sorry, I was coughing while you guys were talking. So I missed that.
Oh, nothing. It was just about the tweet about water that got banned because they didn't know what the chemical, the signature of water was.
Yeah. And because Twitter doesn't like you making fun of conservatives.
Well, not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We're not making fun of conservatives. We're making fun of stupid people. It's not our fault if those groups have a 90% overlap.
No, Amber didn't get banned. Just the tweet.
Yeah, I don't usually make fun of conservatives as a group. I usually make fun of stupid people, and like you said, sometimes that has an overlap.
Yeah, Mage was talking about that a little while ago. Just about the Facebook bots being overly sensitive and blocking so many things now.
Conservatives are humorless. Oh, there's so many that you could put in that blank.
Yeah. You know, and it's a joke, but it's true. The conservatives can't meme.
Funny,
You know,
the
it's like on the level of dad jokes that they just don't get how the humor's supposed to work.
Funny thing is, I see a lot of conservatives say that the liberals can't meme.
Yeah. Well, of course, anything they can't do, the conservatives will claim the other side can't do. The only thing that the conservatives can do is project.
Well, usually what they'll put forth are like make these memes with like huge walls of text.
I do that too. So those aren't really memes. They're just highlighted text.
That's what I was going to say, that they aren't really memes. That's the part they don't get. The idea of a meme is that You know, it's supposed to use a picture to put the message across in 1 or 2 sentences.
Mm-hmm.
Later,
Hi,
Brian.
Demon Oiber. Later, Brian.
Who's leaving?
Brian Stevens just said his ride is here, so.
Bye, Bri.
Yeah, no, I'd have to say that conservatives can memes. It just happens that most of the time, their memes are rather hateful.
That too. Well, but they provide so much material for some good memes.
Yeah, there's absolutely the well that we go to.
Especially when they do, you know, like when they try to create issues that aren't there. Like how Tucker Carlson's been going off about M&Ms.
Mm.
What was it he said about M&Ms?
Arizona just introduced another idiot law into their legislature. They're going to make it a criminal penalty with 5 to 15 years the sentence if you expose a child to a drag show.
Jeez.
And of course, child is they define as anybody under 18.
So you can't risk letting your kids watch old Bugs Bunny cartoons anymore, huh?
Well, or the movie Tootsie or Some Like It Hot, or there's
Mrs.
so many.
Doubtfire.
I was just thinking about that one.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Or that whole TV series that had Tom Hanks and that other guy in it.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. I'm blocking on the title.
I guess most of Monty Python is out.
Yeah, I was gonna say most British humor. A lot of British humor goes out.
Yeah, a lot of British humor relies on the drag performers.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. Nope. Well, that actually wasn't drag in that one, but him singing about being in drag.
Yep. I put on ladies' clothing and hang around in bars. Yeah, they do like to hype a lot of things up just as distractions.
Mm-hmm.
They get their base riled up on emotional things so that the people that are voting for them don't realize that they are killing them.
Mm-hmm.
I just think these sorts of attitudes are just unbelievably childish, immature. It's just
Oh yeah, Bosom Buddies was the name of the show.
Like none of these people have ever been in the locker room. Never heard people actually how they talk on the street. They're so clueless.
Mm-hmm.
And then Trump came out a day or two ago, said that if he's running for president, and if he is elected, he will ban all treatment, medication, or ability to live if you're a transgender person, regardless of your age. No hormones, no treatment, no. Well, you get busted if you're wearing a dress or whatever.
Yeah, and that any medical facility that provided these treatments would be barred from getting any federal money.
Mm-hmm. Which is only about 99% of the hospitals around.
Yeah. course, most of the hospitals already have that covered now, since they said they can refuse treatment to people on religious grounds, and most of the hospitals are owned by religious organizations. They could just say it's against their religion to treat trans people.
Well, actually, I ran into that back in my day. St. Mary's Hospital in Milwaukee was a Catholic hospital, and my shrink had her offices through that, and they told her that she had to drop me as a client because it's against their religion. And we went through a big rigmarole, and I wrote this very nasty letter to the board of directors, because I actually knew, vaguely, the woman. God, I can't remember her name now. Geez, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. The president of the board. We ran a social service agency out of one of their buildings, and we had a relationship with them because they didn't charge us rent, they didn't charge us anything. We just got to use the space because we were doing the work of God, so to speak. And so I know these people, and it's like, you guys are, who you're getting rid of. You're getting rid of somebody that you like. And we ended up winning, that I could continue to get treatment and stuff. But why should you have to go through that? Of course, this was the 70s, so I'm sure it's not that way anymore. It just should never have been.
But they want to make it that way now. They're pushing to make that okay.
Well, I have a cure for this, but I'm not allowed to say it in public.
Yeah, but they're going to get there too, because they're trying to make protesting illegal.
Yeah.
And if you make peaceful protest illegal, then the oppressed people only have one resort left.
Yep.
And
Oh,
they don't understand that making these things illegal does not make the thing cease to exist. It just shoves it underground until it comes to a boiling point and erupts somewhere you're not expecting it.
Oh no, we'll just create these little spaces where you can protest all you like. We'll just make them 2 blocks down and behind some store and next to the dumpster.
Well, it doesn't bother anyone.
Mage is doxing where I live. Go ahead, Clara.
You don't want the protest to bother anyone.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want it to bother anyone who has money.
Exactly.
The Supreme Court is also hearing a case that could mean that if a union goes on strike, the union would be responsible for reimbursing the company for any lost profits.
Oh, jeez. I have no confidence in this current Supreme Court whatsoever.
Yeah, no one does. That's why this is very worrisome, because basically it will take away the workers' right to strike.
I have a cure for that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need the Supreme Court needs some serious treatment, but and you notice that the January 6th thing, they had like at least a couple of weeks warning that something was going to go bad, and the flimsy barricades they erected. But the Supreme Court, when the Roe v. Wade thing got leaked, within 12 hours, the Supreme Court building was securely locked up behind some impressive fences.
Well, gee whiz.
So I've been playing around with this writing AI for a few days now. Still trying to learn how to use it.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. I can see some potential to it. I'm also a little worried that it could become a standard thing for authors who don't really have a great story and just need to pad out the book to make it large enough.
I could see that problem. So what I'm trying to learn how to use right now are the AI modules.
You know what would actually make it more useful is if you could give it an ending and it could write a story to come to that ending.
I wonder if they might have that option actually. I wouldn't be surprised. But it looks like it mostly sets up where it reads from the last thing that was input into the story mostly. So and apparently there's something that you can set up so it'll say if you had something that happened in the beginning of the story and you want to reference to it at the end, the AI won't remember the first part of the story, so you have to input something that will refer back to that. I haven't figured out how that works yet, though.
Okay, so if it's left running on its own, it's likely to develop inconsistencies in the storyline, huh?
Yeah, because it can only remember so many characters.
Well, they just need more memory.
Yeah, in fact, there's paid tiers that they'll give you more room to work with, but I actually got the $10 tier here to play around with it with an unlimited number of iterations here. And so I was playing around with it so much, I figured I might as well.
Okay, so you paid for a basic tier level now?
Yeah, I got a basic tier level on this thing.
What bothers me most about it is that you're going to have a bunch of unscrupulous people who are going to be in college and required to write certain papers and things like this to get their grade, and they're just going to go do it on AI and slough through college, not get a degree and not really have earned it because they don't really have the what they don't have the meat behind them.
Yeah, there is that concern. In fact, I think there are some talks about maybe you developing algorithms that will allow the thing to detect AI work. Though I'm not really sure how well that would work, is I can go in and have the AI write something, and all I need to do is just make a few changes here and there, and how would an algorithm pick up on that?
You're just taking it and rewording it.
Yeah, all I'd have to do is just reword it a little bit.
Well, if you got to reword it, why don't you just write it original to start with? There's a number of services that are on the web that I know for a fact high school students have gone and used, where you can just buy a paper.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about those.
It's definitely going to get a bit harder and harder, though. I do consider this AI thing to be a pretty nice tool to have in the toolbox. I wouldn't want to make it as a sole thing, though.
If it's a tool, it can be abused.
Yeah. But, But I don't think just because somebody might abuse it means that we shouldn't use it, though. Or shouldn't have it.
Yeah, that's the problem, that you can't prevent everyone from having it just because some people are going to misuse it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think we should discontinue all research on cell biology, because that means that somebody will come to understand the human reproductive system. They may make a baby that'll use dead fetus cells, and so therefore all of science needs to be banned. That's where they're headed. We're a nation run by idiots.
You know, I liked it a lot better when Idiocracy was a comedy instead of a documentary.
Yep.
The rest of the world noticed years ago that your country were run by idiots.
Hey, we've gotten so good about it, we're exporting it to other countries now.
Yeah.
Look at the UK.
Doorknob Head, what's an RPN?
Surely you know that from working on engines.
RPN? No. Why would I?
I thought you said RPM.
Mm.
Real picky numbers?
Yeah,
all numbers are picky.
I get a laugh from the conservatives who say that the Mexicans are lazy and they're just coming here to live off of welfare and they're taking their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody who's lazy is taking your job, what does that say about the job you were doing at it?
Mm-hmm. It's Schrodinger's immigrant. Schrodinger's immigrant.
And how are they getting?
Okay.
Yes, and how are they getting your jobs anyway compared to you anyway?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and hey, there are plenty of farmers who are willing to pay you a couple of dollars a day to go and pick their crops.
Yeah, that's actually one of the problems that we ran into. Even when they offered to pay a living wage each to go pick crops, people still weren't taking the job.
Yep. Yeah, well, that was the California farmers overwhelmingly voted for Trump. But because of the crackdowns on the border, a lot of the migrant workers were afraid to even try to come here. So, 25, 30% of the California crops were rotting in the field because they couldn't get the migrant workers to pick them. That's what they got for voting for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, I can, if I put into this bracketing thing into a section called memory, I can actually get this thing to write in the style of different authors.
Answers in Atheism. Be more specific on that 50-year thing. Give me an example. I'm not challenging. I'm just trying to understand.
Well, what it's supposed to be referring to now is people being fiscally conservative, but yeah, even the ones in the government are not fiscally conservative because they, keep giving pork barrel projects to various people.
They call themselves conservative, and then they do stuff like that.
They've always done that, though. They've always been into pork barrel politics.
Well, they're conservative, just not in that way. They want to conserve other things that.
And Trusty Ape, yes, we still have migrant workers, but not as many as they used to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would absolutely 1000% agree with that. AIA. God, I hate that name. I wish you'd come up with something quick and easy. Or something that would just get made into a nickname easily.
Yeah, just call him Answer Man.
Like Doorknob Head. We call him that, or we can call him DK, or
yep.
Answers. No, that'd be like.
That's not bad. Okay, we can try that.
People really should be careful about that when they're picking their online handles, and don't get some real long name that people have trouble spitting out.
I love when people use all these non-English characters and things for their name on places that you should be searchable for. Maybe they don't want to be searched, and that would be very successful attempt at preventing that. But if you want to be searched, it's pretty impossible if you don't even know what the character is that you're supposed to copy.
Well, I had a hard time picking my channel name because I wanted to find something that people would be able to spell, but was actually unique.
People can't seem to get my name right quite often. I get like Maggie. Someone reverse it, go Mega.
Oh, Maggie, I like that.
Or Meg.
We'll call you Maggie from here on.
Oh, jeez. Good. Everybody, take a drink.
Well, before this, I had just Minecrafter, and now I have Clara Minecraft. And sometimes people say Clara Minecraft, and I think like it's okay to just say Clara or just Minecrafter or just Micro. And like I don't know if I should like just pick one of them, like if I should go back to Minecrafter or like just use Clara, or I'm not sure.
Well, didn't people just call you Micro for a long time?
Yeah.
Well, and Claire, this is valid.
And they still do sometimes.
If there's somebody in our community you haven't met, if they're female, use Jen. If they're male, use Dave. And at least 1 out of 3 times you'll be right. So I guess we should try calling Answers and Atheism Dave.
There you go. Oh yeah, I was just doing in the chat, not talking out on streams like this. A lot of people thought I was a girl.
Yeah, I don't remember what avatar you were using then.
Same avatar I've been using.
Okay.
The Wolf with the Rose.
Well, see, it's the rose that's the giveaway.
I was gonna say people just pick too much on the flower thing.
Well, even before I started using the Wolf with the Rose, I was using another one. It was a wolf with a blue thing. I just picked off of online.
Things stick with people. It's like Purple's problem that they always have. With you burn down one building and they don't trust you with any of them. It's.
I
mean, come on, that was 30 years ago already.
Well, I understand. I'm on your side here.
Burn down one place.
There you go. A wolf with a rose howls just the same.
There you go.
But they dropped the rose doing it.
Yeah, I suppose there's one way you can do it without dropping the rose, and just keep it in the back of your mouth there.
I don't know.
I have a gagging
I think you
problem.
need the forest fairies to just weave the rose into your mane. Then you can't drop it.
Yeah, that wolf rose actually was from clip art I grabbed, and I just kind of filtered it and then kind of edited it all together. It actually took me a couple hours to put that thing together.
I just thought it was great that for as many years as I had already been on YouTube, there were so many people who didn't know what gender I was to begin with. To me, that was very affirming. I'd even been live on camera a few times, but not very often. It didn't happen more than once or twice a year. But if you want to go back and you want to dig through my old live streams, the last time it happened was about 2.5 years ago.
Bah. Wolf, I mean bah. Talking about carols there. Will smell sweeter when they wear their sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
Well, we have a little wolf in the community. Are you medium-sized or a big wolf? Or
Okay, here's something I want to know. I was thinking of this yesterday when I was looking at clothes at the store. They've got the extra small and they've got the extra large, but I can never find the extra medium section.
Why do we have lesser?
That's pretty good, Perp. I gotta give you that. That's pretty good.
Why do we have lesser apes in great apes? What about the okay apes?
Yeah, nothing wrong with them.
The adequate apes?
Yeah, there you go, adequate apes.
You know, because that's what evolution is really all about. You know, is every generation, every individual is a little bit different. So every generation, evolution is trying several million different possibilities. And any of them that manage the bar of barely adequate get to go on to the next round and try again.
Yeah, basically what we usually see in is things spreading out in all directions, and then just kind of focusing in on what works or just gets by. And then it kind of branches out again.
People get by? I thought they were born that way.
Yeah, I definitely started out that way. Actually, it was a bit of a shock to me when I was 16 and I found out that most people were expected to choose one or the other.
Well, if you could choose, I'd go with Pan.
Yeah, well, by the time anyone mentioned that to me, I'd already had a girlfriend and a boyfriend, so it was really too late at that point.
And, why limit yourself if you can have actually choose?
Yeah. Oh, in a little short thing he posted the other day, Jackson Galaxy, the guy from My Cat from Hell. It's like the final line in this little short. He's talking about polydactyl cats. He kind of says, "And I'm polysexual." And it goes by so fast that if you don't know what it is, you'll completely miss it.
I don't know what polysexual is, but it sounds similar to bisexual.
Basically, I identify as polysexual, and for me, it's just that I don't accept that there are only two genders, and I will not rule anyone out just based on their gender. So I'm open to a relationship with someone of any gender.
See, Tuweeb, I have to question that. I never understood how people had sex with kitchen utensils and stuff. I just never got that.
Well, actually, I think that Sloth Girl is pansexual because she doesn't really seem to be interested in human partners, but she definitely gets a glow when she can cook. Actually, I'm pretty sure that Sloth Girl is more demi. That she needs the emotional connection before anything else can happen. Yeah, which is why we can't have any kind of relationship, because I'm just a slut.
I question whether I might fall into the demi category a little bit myself. Because I can be attracted to somebody, but if I wanted to take it, further to actually having sex with them, I'd need that emotional connection.
It's been so long since I've had sex. I consider myself to be a dunno-sexual.
Well, see, I find it works best for me to do relationships backwards. The only good relationships I've had started out with just hooking up over the computer to have sex and getting to know each other after that. So that's really the only way it works for me. But that's how I met my late fiance, and that's well, no, actually not my late fiance, because we were in different states, so we chat over the computer much longer. But my ex that I was with for 12 years started out that way. Okay, well, see, somebody's going to have to write me a little song there, so I'll have intro
Yeah.
music. Yeah. So that I've got an intro song for my channel, huh?
I'm just a slut.
Just a slut.
I'm a slut.
I'm just a slut. The slut you want. Da 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 da.
I'm going to have to go soon.
I'm a slut. I'm a slut.
I'm going to have to go soon. My battery is getting way down. I've been having
Oh.
charging problems with my phone, and
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm going to need to get one of those magnetic kind of charger things because it's the actual charge port that's having problems.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you need to get one of the cordless charging stations.
Yeah.
If we're not going to be stopping this thing pretty soon, I do need to get up for a few minutes to go check on my bird and grab something to eat.
Well, we could actually wind it up here. We've been going almost 2 hours.
Well, not quite. I mean, even numbers are important.
Okay, Two Weeb. For me and Jenny, just about everybody here is on the younger side.
And to Weeb, I guarantee you, I've been a virgin longer than you've been alive.
Check on my bird. Is that what the kid? Yes.
Yes, I've heard that joke. It's a sun conure. It's a parrot. Actually, it's an actual bird, not an innuendo.
Is that one of those things that qualifies for something you can say in a live stream and while you're having sex?
I suppose so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's something to watch later. Got a video from Gutsick Nick Gibbon.
Yeah, that happens when we get old. Fortunately, there's some really high quality lubricants available.
Okay, well, Jenny thinks we need the 2 hour mark, so we need to keep going for about 10 more minutes and then we can wrap up, huh?
Yeah, we can do that. Well, I got about 8 minutes.
Well, now it's about to be 7 minutes.
Yeah, because I started 15 minutes late.
That's what we can do. We can spend the next 7 minutes counting down.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No, you got to count backwards.
Doorknob head for Thanksgiving. You want a moist bird?
Well,
we could just make bird jokes with the side chat.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be one of those pole birds? I could use a pole bird.
What did Tweety say when he let Sylvester in from the blizzard?
I don't know.
I thought I'd thaw a pudding hat.
Oh, man, that's really bad. You just ruined all your credibility.
Like, I don't make enough dad jokes as it is. But hey, some of my dad jokes like that one are actually original. I make some of these up on my own.
Now you've really lost your credibility.
Well, like last night when I was in a chat with Doc Pearson. Actually, I'll have to type this one out because the spelling's more important.
Well, now this is the height of dumb. There's this B movie running on TV, and they're having an advertisement for the B movie that's running on TV. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, since we're getting close to the end here, I'll just post my last video in the chat.
And then on the advertisement, when they would normally say, watch Thursday at 9, 8 Central Time, they just say this month.
Well, yeah, with streaming services, I've seen them do that. That just says all this month. Yes, chickens are dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they
Well,
are.
They are descended from
All birds.
dinosaurs, but I
All
I
birds are
really think
dinosaurs.
that we need to be able to go back to just talking about, birds and not have to say non-avian dinosaurs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Birds and dinosaurs are valid classifications on their own because everything else, every other group of animals evolved from some previous group of animals.
Mm-hmm. And when we are talking
then we're
about
all just basically stomata, aren't we?
Yeah. You don't evolve out of what you
well,
were.
Yep.
if we ain't nothing but mammals, let's do it like that.
Well, that's why technically
couldn't get
humans are
you.
fish.
DK, I don't understand that one at all.
Me neither.
He's talking about like flipping a house. I thought it was cute.
Okay.
A bird is a house?
Nerdy. I don't know about you, maybe.
I think you have. You got this new avatar and everything.
Yeah. Very cool.
Well, I don't know. Does growing into the right gender count as evolving?
Yeah.
No, that's correcting a birth defect.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, they started me out with the wrong body.
Yeah, you need an update.
I just realized that your wolf is wearing a dress.
It's a robe.
No, it's not.
Okay, Carol, you should be safe because if I've got this right, you're a couple of years younger than I am. And old is always defined as 5 years more than my current age.
We're not going to do age studies again, are we?
Carol, you're 71?
Wow, that's old. Holy cow.
Okay, I was thinking you were in your early 50s. For some reason, I was thinking 54.
How can somebody even breathe at that age? I mean, holy cow.
Hey, my mom's 94 and she's still pretty much living on her own. She has decided she can't drive anymore because after the hip replacement, she feels that if a deer ran out in the road, she can't move her leg fast enough to get from the accelerator to the brake.
Well, she got to do her physical therapy more often.
Well, she had the surgery before I moved, so that was 3 years ago, and that was her decision, and
Oh,
I
okay.
respect that at her age she feels that her reflexes aren't as fast as they were, and maybe she shouldn't be doing that.
Hi, Shadow Kitty.
Hey, Shadow Kitty. We probably won't be here very much longer.
Yeah.
Looks like about 40 seconds.
Well, I suppose then we could do wrap-ups now, and by the time we've gone around and asked if anybody's got anything to plug, we'll be over.
Well, tomorrow I'll be sleeping through your 10 o'clock show.
Fine. You're one of those anti-hedgehog people.
Aww.
That was just a comment on my latest appearance.
No, hey, like I say, if you can get decent sleep, by all means do.
Mm-hmm.
With my sleep patterns, I have no idea where I'm going to be at.
Okay, so everyone in the side chat, I appreciate if tomorrow you can all come and hang out in the side chat and type comments because that helps the YouTube algorithm if there's a lot of comments in the side chat. but it may be possible that everyone on the panel will be asleep.
There you go.
Mind you, there have been some times that like chats have started that the people weren't there to run them. So we just had a couple of people who kept popping back and forth periodically and making comments in the side chat.
Would this be the famous potato stream?
Not so much that one, because not as many people had noticed it at the time. But there was one time that Jen for Australia, I think she was driving to go pick up her brother, and that while she was gone, somehow her cat had activated the stream. So the stream was running for 6 or 8 hours while she wasn't home.
Wow.
So yeah, I was popping over there about every half hour to an hour just to put some comment in the side chat. And
the sad part of it was
other people doing the same thing.
The sad part was that it got its best ratings ever on.
Yep.
Aww.
I've actually thought about doing that as an experiment of just starting a stream with nobody in it and seeing what happens with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Mage, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I already put the link to my.
Okay, is that the one about buying seeds?
Yeah, it's the one about buying seeds.
I was listening to that last night.
Yeah, if you want to get seeds, I also put the list of companies you can go and buy seeds from in the description of that.
Are you going to put in some of that Romanesco cauliflower?
I have to think about doing that one sometime. I haven't gotten that before. It does look neat.
Yeah, it's a cool looking plant.
Its taste is incredible. You will absolutely love it. If you like cauliflower at all, you will not eat cauliflower again. You'll always want this.
I'm not a huge fan of cauliflower, but I'll give it a shot. I mean, maybe I'll like that one and better.
I like cauliflower. Sloth Girl does not. Maybe we should try that.
At the very least, if I don't like it, I can feed it to my bird.
I like its name, the fractal plant.
Okay, Carol, this is a discussion we can have on one of your streams. Because I do not believe Jesus is a myth. I believe Jesus is a composite legendary character.
I'm with you, Carol. Complete myth.
Well, I think that there were probably just, a number of wandering preachers around that time, and they just compiled all the stories of them and said it was all one person. The same way we get the stories of Robin Hood and King Arthur.
Well, King Arthur was more of a myth.
King Arthur was myth, but there's like a couple sections of it that they can say that, this was the king who was king at this time.
Yeah. Well, that's not uncommon to take real life. Yeah, that's not uncommon to take real life elements and put it into a fictional character.
Yeah. But that's basically the difference between a myth and a legend, is that a legend has some seed of historical reality in it.
Yeah, I tend to lean towards legend myself with Jesus.
I think I'm a legend. It's...
Well, in my own mind.
Especially since, I went through those legal proceedings and everybody after that called me myth. I'm sorry.
Okay, Doorknob Head has a point. Is it automatically a myth if there's something magical in it? But again, most popular legends had some magic user. King Arthur had Merlin.
I thought mythology was more correctly used just to describe a fantastic something that isn't real.
Though interesting enough, I remember a few years ago hearing that there may have been some actual guy whose basis is for the Hercules stories.
Yeah, that's part of the problem right there.
You mean
how
Kevin
do you
Sorbo?
define myth?
No, not Kevin Sorbo. I mean
Kevin Sorbo actually exists?
Well, does he have to? We won't get into that.
in Minecraft.
Joseph Campbell in his book actually defined myth as just being not necessarily something that wasn't true, but a story that was unprovable. So, yeah, it comes down to how are you going to define myth? We've got to start with that.
I've also heard,
that's what happens with so many of these debates is you've got to start by defining your terminology.
Yeah, I've also heard that as basically the definition for legend too. So,
well, if you take into account the concept of urban myth, then that doesn't work, because urban myths have very little to do with anything magical or fantastic, or in most cases even something that is provable or unprovable, that they're just bullshit.
Anyway, we were wrapping up.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of bleed over that you don't really know which category it fits into. Like, is Bigfoot a myth or a legend?
Bullshit.
Okay. Mage is trying to wrap up so he can go get something to eat.
Did anybody notice? I'm sorry, I got to say this about Bigfoot. Is it 30, 40 years ago, the only mention you ever heard about bullshit or Bigfoot is in connection with the Himalayan mountains. That was the only place that a Bigfoot story existed, and now it's Bigfoot in Florida. Come on.
Well, there was a situation where we had an escaped orangutan that was being mistaken for Bigfoot, and I actually did see him.
An orangutan is a whole hell of a lot different than a Bigfoot, if descriptions of Bigfoot are correct.
Yeah, well, actually, Jenny, though, there were actually in the 1980s there was a big surge of Bigfoot reporting in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, that's how it even made it into the show The $6 Million Man.
And then there's
there's Bigfoot reports around where I'm living, and it's like, cut it out. I mean, I even know a guy who swears that he saw it. And it's like, really, Dan? What drugs were you on this time?
Well, and then there's Aaron Ra.
Yeah, I love Aaron Ra's story. My sister had given me a bumper sticker for Christmas that said Bigfoot saw me, but no one believed him. So when I met Aaron Ra, I brought that with and I got him to sign it.
Great.
So I'm putting that in the frame with my picture with Aaron Ra.
That's awesome.
For anyone in the side chat who doesn't know what we're talking about, just go on YouTube and just search Aaron Ra Bigfoot, and you can find like a 2.5-minute clip of him explaining that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I think I will do that if my phone ever charges up again.
I really should keep the link to that on hand, but I don't have it right now. And as Mage said, we're trying to wrap up, so I won't go searching for it at the moment. Okay, so anyone else have anything coming up? Any appearances on other channels they want to plug?
No, nobody wants me on their shows anymore. I come in and I wreck them.
But in a fun way.
So what you're saying is we should use you for a plant on channels we want to get rid of, huh? Obviously, it doesn't work because after 5 years, I'm still here.
Try harder.
Jenny, you've been here just about the whole time I've been doing this.
I have been the whole time you've been doing this. I mean, yes, I've missed a couple shows from illness and travel or whatever, that kind of thing, but I've made every one of your shows.
Yeah, but
it really should be the Purple and Jenny show.
Yeah, we're actually only a little over a month away from my 5-year anniversary of when I started doing these live streams. That should be coming up sometime in March. I'll have to check again when the first one was.
Boy, that's kind of depressing.
I don't remember when I first saw one of your shows, or when I was first on. 2020 something, I think.
Most people first find me from doing the Christmas marathons. You know, and that was part of the thing with doing the Christmas marathons that I wanted to do, was that we string a marathon live stream together of at least a dozen different channels. So then you get a good crossover audience, and the audience gets to discover some new channels.
Yeah.
Actually, One Ring is the greatest story for that, because that was like the 2021 Christmas live stream that Pirate Kitty was helping me organize. And One Ring popped up and said that he would take a slot, and I assumed he was a friend of Pirate Kitty. Pirate Kitty assumed I knew him, so we gave him a slot, and we didn't find out until about 4 months later that no one had any idea who he was.
We've had people who will show up to party, and he's like that in my family.
He's not really a family member, but everybody thinks he is.
One Christmas when I was a kid, we were cleaning up the wrapping paper, and we found somebody asleep on the floor, and nobody could identify who it was. So it turned out to be a friend of my brother, but my brother had gone to church, so it was 2 hours before he came back and identified who this was. But kind of weird to have somebody sleeping in your living room, and just everybody's like, I don't know, did you let him in?
Yeah, we've had that before. Well, maybe quite sleeping in the living room, but similar situation.
Yeah, the Xmas marathons are really what I got known for in the community. That's where most people got to know me first, I think. Okay, but yeah, we were wrapping up, so I will would like to thank the people who help pay for my internet and help keep things going here for me. Greg Hartwick, I know, was out in the side chat, is probably still lurking out there with us.
Lurker.
And Greg is an incredibly generous person who has helped so many in the community. Skits Crasher has been extremely generous to me personally. He's sending me a bit on PayPal every month. Kitty the Atheist, Robert X, who I didn't see today, but is frequently in my chats there. He's one of our self-appointed moderators. Vonrek has been around with us for a long time, and will also be found on Lavender Lady's channel. And our newest subscriber, Southern Sal, who it basically does a lot of photography work, and a lot of it's just kind of proving how much bullshit is in the flat Earth ideas. Just a lot of like sun and astrophotography. So it is a channel worth checking out. And, just all of our regulars in the side chat. We appreciate y'all coming here. Like I say, I appreciate you keeping the chat lively, and giving us on the panel something to respond to. I really want it to be more of a conversation here than, just the 3 or 4 people who are sitting in the panel all the time. So your questions and comments are always welcome. And we will see you then tomorrow night at 10 Central. So, bye-bye all.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Bonds. Our chat, we love you.
Bye-bye.